My name is William Skelly. I'm a graduate student at the University of Dayton in my first year, and I have studied Blake for my scholarship and really enjoy his work. You know, you have to put it in context that the main thing that Blake is remembered for is probably, the illuminated text. The text and the paintings are intertwined, whereas with something that's not his to intertwine, he'll just pick particular scenes and illustrate them. So like Book of Job, like I said, with Leviathan, Satan being cast out of heaven, stuff like that. He just picks what he really wants to do with. There's always a nature there. There's always a visionary nature that he had this universe in mind, and that, even with something as, outspoken as the Book of Job from the Old Testament, something that people are so familiar with, he always sought to put something new on it, a new face or something. The thing with Blake is that the images were always keyed into what he found important in the text. He always likes to show the interaction of the supernatural and man in the physical realm. That's why in this book, in the Book of Job, you have the figures, these godlike figures, angels, Satan, hovering over man, and you'll always see that. He will use certain facial characteristics throughout his interpretation. So, for example, you go to his illustrations of Paradise Lost, you go to Marriage of Heaven and Hell or something like that, the representation of Satan will usually be the same, like it's the same face. But the important thing with something like the Book of Job is to understand why he's choosing to illustrate the passage he's choosing, and what he's doing with the artistic form, because that's all you have to work with, because it's not an original composition on the level of text. So my best advice to anyone going to the exhibit is to, look into what he did in the illuminated text. Use that as your jumping off point for understanding what he's highlighting in the larger scenes he gets from the Book of Job.